can't come in here. Can't come in here with a background like that. We just got to hit record right now.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
This is the 5 on 5 podcast presented to you by Nuke's Hot Sauce and DirectMusicService.com. DirectMusicService.com. Use promo code 5 on 5. Save you some money over there. We're going to get right into it.
There's a lot of new DJs out there, though, real quick. There's a lot of new DJs out there that need to go ahead and hit that promo code.
Let them know. All right, cool.
Yeah, go ahead and hit that promo code 5 on 5.
I'm one of your hosts, Phenom, coming to you live from sunny tropical Portland, Oregon. Down the street from me, the man, the myth, the legend, Jupiter Williams. Down the street from him in the belly of the beast, Nick Lopez in sunny Las Vegas.
The fresh Caesar.
And our special guest, our very special guest today. I'm so happy to have this dude on this podcast. I DJ'd with him eons ago. Back when he had a mustache. There's no mustache anymore.
Oh, this is a recent development. I had a mustache for like 10 years, and just recently I was like, I don't know, just shaved it off just to see what it was like.
Oh, I love it. If you recognize that voice, you probably do. You know him from Mad Decent. You know him from Drake Night. You know him from so many different things. ARD, all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, the meme king, the master himself, Dirty South Joe.
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, how the fuck are you, dude?
I'm good. Like I was saying, I'm here in my kitchen in my relatively like new loft, like crib that I've been living in for like probably about the last like 6 months or so. But basically, that's just been like the bulk of like my last year is just like relocating and just like I don't know, decorating my home and whatnot. I got a dog.
When you made that move,
breakup, went through one of those like post-COVID breakups. Got a dog, got a puppy. Just living life.
Love that.
Shaving, doing all kinds of crazy
Shaving.
Yeah, before we get into it, this is an episode you're going to want to watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
You're going to need to see this one on YouTube for the background. And for the.
So when you go on to YouTube, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, and ding the bell every time you be notified when we drop a video.
All that. It's just that easy.
It is.
Joe, when you made the move, did you get to that point where you're like, toss everything, get it out of here? I'm tired of boxing shit up. I'm over it.
Well, furniture-wise, yeah, because I like lived in like a smaller space, and all my furniture in the new place like looked stupid. So I just got all new furniture when I moved in. But then I also had like a bunch of like, you see this like this mural behind me and stuff. Like I have a whole lot of like anime like wall scrolls and posters and stuff because I was doing like an anime night, like a party last year, and then I just got more and more, and I was like, I don't know, my place just sort of I got like probably like 200 anime figures in here. It just like started to turn into like this weird little museum kind of spot. And I got a bunch of, I also like bought like a Pop-A-Shot game and like a skee ball machine and a foosball table. And
this place sounds hella fun.
Yeah. Full size like Shaq NBA Jam. And like, I don't know, I just turned my place into like this kind of like, in case we have another pandemic, I'm just like, I'm good. I got my home game room. Just invite a few people over, mask up, let's party.
Dude, Joe's Funhouse. I love that.
Man, I feel like we have to go DJ over there or something.
Yeah, that's you gotta live streaming that.
Yeah,
for sure.
You did bring it up though. You threw the Otaku party.
I did, yeah.
Which is is a party dedicated to the opening and closing music from anime TV shows.
At 100%,
which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's kind of crazy because if you really, really like take it back in the States, like rock music is like completely irrelevant and has been for like probably since the 90s or like even maybe early 2000s. I don't know what the last wave of just like whatever, anything with like guitars and stuff just hasn't been like.
Yo, Nickelback is still here though, man.
Huh?
I said Nickelback is still here.
Yeah, exactly. Like what are like the two big bands of the last few years? It's be like Imagine Dragons and some 21 Pilots or some shit, you know what I mean? Like just terrible shit. And Coldplay, like that's just bad. But like in Japan, like I feel like guitar bass, not necessarily just guitar bass, but like good rock music like thrives and lives, especially in like anime music and especially in like the openings and stuff. And I don't know, it's just epic, great music. And, I also have like emotional connections to lots of it when it's related to certain animes that I love. And so it's kind of been like a long, slow fight, but we're trying to just like, cause you can't really reach out to your general regular like music crowds to find this crowd that's really into this. Like, who really wants to party to this music? And if, I feel like eventually, like it's gonna have like a sort of like a emo night kind of a vibe, you know, like an effect of like basically people singing along with things in Japanese that they don't even know the words for because but they just know how it sounds. You know what I mean? Because if you are into anime, then you probably have like 50 openings that you personally like fuck with. You know what I mean? Like just like off the bat. But there's just no outlet whatsoever for this music in the States. Plus, I want to build this brand up to the point where a lot of these bands can like tour the States under my umbrella, you know, of the OP umbrella. Like that's kind of like also the plan, because as of right now, that just doesn't go down. They don't really like, not a lot of these bands are like touring the States at all. So
Joe, let me ask you this. Top 5 anime movies.
Anime movies?
Yeah. Or shows. Let's go
shows.
Oh, I can give you shows easy. I mean, number 1 is One Piece. Number 2 is Gintama. Number 3 is, I would say, Hunter x Hunter. Number 4 is Dragon Ball Z. And number 5 is Yu Yu Hakusho, I guess. Yeah.
Wow. I love Hunter x Hunter over Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, it's just like, so I recently like picked up the manga from the point where the anime ended, you know, and the manga is like still like, it has these long pauses because the author Togashi, he's always got this kind of like really bad, like, I don't know, sort of stomach sickness or something. So basically he'll go like years on hiatuses and stuff, but he just dropped like a bunch of new chapters at the end of last year. And so I caught up to the manga, and I realized like, I didn't even read the manga for like the parts up through the anime that I watched, but like, yo, it's on like 50, like 3D chess. There's like crazy levels of shit going on with that just made it like way more advanced than like the simple little story that I thought it was. But yeah, that's definitely, it's up there.
Hell yeah.
I would definitely be interested in checking.
What about you guys? What are some of your favorite animes?
Neek is our resident anime.
Neek is our anime guy.
Right now I'm really into, I mean, overall, like I think Dragon Ball is still up there for me. I know it's like storytelling wise is very basic and it's just guys beating the shit out of each other.
It's just Street Fighter.
Yeah, it's really not that deep, but I really like.
Yeah, it is. It's just like, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I really think like Dragon Ball with like the relationship between life and death in Dragon Ball, and like gods and gods of gods and like all of that kind of stuff is really, really actually like hella deep. It's really
it's kind of, I forgot what it's based on, the with the Monkey King and all that stuff.
Yeah. Sun Wukong.
Yes. And then I'm really into I think Inuyasha might be one of my favorites.
Inuyasha, man, I love that show. Samurai
Champloo. Death Note is definitely in my top 5. And I'm gonna go ahead and put Attack on Titan in there.
That's what I'm about to say. Attack, man.
Yeah. Attack on Titan is definitely my top 10 for sure.
Yeah, Neek, you put me onto Attack. Like it's easy to get hooked on that.
Easy.
It's kind of got a little bit of a bigger than, you know, anime kind of like a popularity to it, you know.
I think that's what I like about it, is it's really it's not so much like based in Japan, like most things. Like it's very international.
Yeah.
It's political. Like it's a big setting. It's a
like
global setting.
If you have friends that like horror movies or monster or just like psychological like fucked up shit, you know, it's a good thing to like recommend to people outside of like what, you know, they would normally expect, especially in the first episode where you see somebody's like some monster eat somebody's mom, and then you're like, oh, this is
right.
I was like, I'm in. After that, I was like, yo, let's go. Yeah.
And then,
exactly. That's kind of the moment where everybody's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And also like top theme song, probably.
Yeah.
The changing theme song too.
It changes.
Yeah.
But everyone.
The last one, the straight metal, like the rumbling. That was like the last OP was fucking, the energy was insane. It was like horse screaming and just like, I don't know.
So sick. It's like an early Slipknot song. Like it's so
it
sick.
Is. Yeah, it is. That's a good description of it. But that shit was heavy as hell.
Give us your top 3 anime opening songs of all time.
Whoa. Okay, just for sentimental reasons and just because it's like the one OP that like lived for the whole entirety of the show is like Departure from Hunter x Hunter. That shit is awesome. Jesus Christ, this is tough. Asian Kung Fu Generation. This band, they have a song Riri from Erased. That's in there. And and I guess We Are, the first One Piece OP.
Oh yeah.
The very first one that like sort of like as the years go by, just like it pops back up here and there, just like in little like background melodies and stuff. And just like takes you back to being like, you know, a show that's got like probably like I don't know how many OPs through the years, but still like the first one is like kind of the best. Yeah, I think those 3.
Neek, Resident.
The original Japanese Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
It's just actually I think it might be the
Chala Headshala or
yeah, Chala. I was gonna say Chala Headshala, but I think I like the closing credits better. And then obviously the most recent Attack, and then easily fucking oh my god, Samurai Champloo, the Fat John beats.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, like that whole soundtrack is just fresh.
And what's his name?
Nujabes and Fat John are all over those, and those are just that's the shit that I think might have really got me in. Like Adult Swim might have been what really got me into anime.
Samurai Champloo is kind of like the hip hop anime crossover too.
Yeah. A lot of like Wu-Tang references, a lot of breaking in the fighting, a lot of like you'll see like graffiti in the background. Like that's definitely my favorite for sure.
You think that'd be a good entry point for DJs and stuff looking to get into anime?
Yup.
Yeah.
I would say so.
It's cool as hell. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I do want to talk more things than just anime. We don't do only that around here. Every week, we compare 2 artists head-to-head, their top 5 songs as viewed most popular on Spotify. As you know, friend of the pod, Low B, was on a couple months ago, and I consulted him. I said, what would you like to see Joe take on for this 5-on-5 podcast? So, gentlemen, we're kind of stepping outside of the box today. As per Lobeezy, we have Hypnotize Minds versus Swisha House.
Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna need to do some referencing.
It's gonna be.
I love this. I love that we're doing labels.
Yeah, this is dope.
Yeah, it's gonna get a little bit loose today, but I think you guys will know every song. Number 1 from Hypnotized Minds, we have Stay Fly, obviously 3-6 Mafia.
You gotta go with the Oscar winner first, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta go off the top.
Yeah.
Versus Swisha House, Mike Jones, Still Tippin'.
Oh.
We'll start with Joe. You have the honors.
Fuck. It's like, I wanted to say that Stay Fly was kind of low-key the bigger song of the 2, but I also think that Still Tippin' was kind of like
Still Tippin' was huge,
completely like sort of like a column, a pillar of a movement that was just being introduced to everybody as far as like Houston, like chop and screw music and just like that Houston sound. Like Still Tippin' was kind of, I don't know, like a watershed moment, whereas Stay Fly was kind of like the high point of like lots of high points, you know? So I still got to give it to Stay Fly.
Okay. Let's pass to Trav. What do you got?
Stay Fly. MJG's verse is my favorite verse on that. So
okay. Yeah. Neek.
I'm going with Still Tippin', just because that put me into a phase.
Okay. You went down the rabbit hole. Yep. You went down the Swisha House rabbit hole.
Started drinking some lean.
Yeah, that was a whole different era.
Nico 5,000 watts.
Yeah. All right. That era, there was lots of like not just like proper albums, but like lots of mixtapes and stuff were all in that era that was coming from there.
Yeah.
Like Michael Watts and everything that was like, I don't know. Yeah, I feel that.
Hip Hop Bloghouse.
Yeah. Just right before, man. The thing with that too is it's a lot of freestyle cuts. So it's like a 1 minute freestyle from like Slim Thug. And you're like, this is one of the greatest Swisha House tracks ever. And you're like, it's a minute.
One verse.
Round 2, gentlemen, Project Pat with Chicken Head or Paul Wall with Sitting Sideways. Let's start with Joe again.
Man. I think what are you asking me now? Which is my favorite, or which one do I think is like,
which is your favorite? Yeah.
Which is my favorite? Oh, it's definitely like Chicken Head. Yeah.
Okay. Neek.
Yeah.
I'm going Paul Wall on this. I hate this. I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, I am too, man.
After I say this, I'm like, did I say that's disrespectful to the other
one? Trav, which way are you going? Tiebreaker.
I mean, shit. I like Chicken Head, and I also like the Cardi B version, Chicken Head too. Paul Wall.
Okay.
Paul Wall.
All right. Okay.
I don't feel good about it.
It's almost easier to not explain yourself. Just say it.
Yeah, I started not to feel good about it as soon as I explained it.
Yeah. Round 3, gentlemen, Slob on My Knob or Lil C, Drank Up in My Cup. We can start with, you want to start, Trav? Go ahead.
Slob.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe?
Slob on my knob, like corn on the cob.
Okay. Okay. That's a sweep for that.
That's a sweep, yeah.
Round 4, Sipping on Some Syrup or Mike Jones, Back Then. I'll let whoever start off.
Sipping.
Okay. Trav?
Yeah.
Joe? Go ahead, Joe.
Sipping. Well. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be the contrarian. I'll go Mike Jones.
Mike Jones?
Yeah.
Okay. Round 5, Rest in Peace, Gangsta Boo, Mask to My Face, or Swisha House Cuttin'.
I gotta look this one
Gangsta
up.
Boo. Gangsta Boo, R.I.P.
Yeah, same. Gangsta Boo as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta look up Swisha House Cuttin'.
It's all of these. This is
this was hard, man. Pause, but thank you.
It's not easy.
No, it's not.
Yeah. I mean, both everything mentioned pretty much still goes off in the club.
Exactly.
You could drop that like anytime. Gangsta Boo. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So that wasn't totally one-sided, but yeah.
It wasn't, but that was tough though.
Yeah.
It wasn't totally one-sided, and it wasn't a sweep, but it wasn't like none of these choices were fucking easy.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't feel good about any other picks that I picked.
No. Yeah. You'll think about that later.
Oh yeah.
Each one represents like the biggest movement of a city at the time, that was like major in music from like, 2003 on. So it's just like, it's kind of like, it's really hard to pick.
Yeah.
It's fucking tough, man. I do want to do a lightning round with you here. We're going to give you 10 questions. It's a this or a that. One artist stays. The other is deleted out of your Serato and out of your brain until the end of time.
All right.
Starting with Trina or Meg Thee Stallion?
Megan gotta go.
Okay. Faith Evans or Mary J?
Faith Evans gotta go.
Okay. Let's go Shaba or Supercat?
Supercat gotta go.
Okay. Paul Wall or Mike Jones?
Mike Jones gotta go.
Okay. Let's go with Diddy or Jermaine Dupri?
Jermaine Dupri gotta go.
Okay. Jay-Z or Future?
See you. Bye-bye, Jay-Z.
Okay. Let's go with Method Man or Redman?
This is tough. Because of the some of the acting skills, I'm gonna give it Redman gotta go.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, Method Man was what, Cheese on the Wire?
Yep.
Yeah.
If you weren't on the wire, then like, you know, I mean, like, what were you doing at that period of time, you know?
That counts. That counts. Clips or Mob Deep?
I guess my Clips got to go because Pusha T is so mean to Drake.
Steely Dan or Gangstar?
Oh, what a weird question. I'm gonna keep Gangstar because they can always just like sample Steely Dan, right?
Okay. Well, Steely Dan's deleted.
Yeah,
forever.
they're gone out of existence.
That just didn't happen.
That's fine. I'm not like not that old. It's not going to affect me that much.
Drake or Dr. Dre?
Bye bye, Dr. Dre.
Okay. Sade or Aaliyah?
Damn, that's the hardest one of the day. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. I'm going to take a nap on that.
And that's our episode for the day, y'all.
Boom.
Whew. Damn. Oh man, come on. How you gonna ask me a question like this? All right. This is heresy or something. I don't know. Sade gotta go.
Okay. It's neither one is easy. It's not supposed to be easy. Missy or Busta?
Busta gotta go.
Okay.
Hey, also Missy is going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so
we're
shout
gonna
out.
talk about that for sure. Yeah, we definitely gotta talk about that.
Well overdue.
Missy had that stretch. She had so many summers on Smash. Her lead single from her new album, Every Time, would literally like change the sound of the radio. Every single time she would drop a new album for like, I don't know, like 4 years straight. It was
right.
amazing.
And not to mention all the stuff that she was doing behind the scenes too that was dropping.
Exactly. And Busta Rhymes is to me like the most oh man, I hate it when he does like boom bap, like when he does this like nowadays, like I feel like Busta Rhymes like could be like killing it if he would just go on his like fast tongue twisted or even like Bacon styles or something, like do something like that like all the time and stop rapping over boom bap beats because that shit is so stale. And then like I'm so like futuristic and cool sometimes, and then it's just like, but then he always like fail safe is to just make this like.
You talking about that last album that he put out?
Yeah, because I was really like from features. I think
was it
like
ELE too?
What was it? Bugsy and whatever. Don't Rush. Remember that remix?
Yeah.
UK song. Like he killed that in that like Jamaican style, and obviously you can go back to like Look at Me Now when it was just like that was one of the illest verses of those like 4 or 5 years, and when that came out, you know, that verse from the Chris Brown song. Just, like, there's all this potential still there with Busta, and then like he just doesn't fulfill it because he just makes like that boring ass album that was terrible.
And that album was tough too because it was all throwaway songs.
Yeah, exactly.
It was old 10-year-old songs.
And me and the gang, when we were on the Art podcast, I was just like, I don't know, from just some of the little features and stuff, I was just like predicting some awesome Busta Rhymes, like, you know, groundbreaking comeback, you know, making this interesting music. And then I got that, and I was like, man, I could never been more off than what I was predicting there.
Hey, look over that song. Look Over Your Shoulder, man. Did not work.
Yeah.
You know what song I'm talking about?
None of that. He had that track with Anderson .Paak. He was on the remix of that.
Oh, that's right.
And he went back to Spittin' Fast.
Yep.
And then was like, "Oh, y'all like this? Never mind."
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like everything of his that's been hitting over the last few years at all has been him doing something completely left field, fast, weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just go back and make like
exactly
shit right now, bro.
Look, I just need Busta Rhymes to put out that cartoon, man, and just narrate a cartoon about the history of his history and all the stories that he went through.
I remember having my camera out at Webster Hall one night when OT Genesis was performing, and you know he was like Busta Rhymes' artist. You know, we were doing this weekly called House Party, and at Webster Hall. And the one night that on the main stage on you know, it was like Just Blaze and DJ Soul were like the DJs for that floor. But anyway, I was there that night. Do you guys remember when Busta Rhymes just straight up like head dove, like just kind of like fell over into the crowd?
Yes.
I was sitting there filming that. I wish I still had that footage, but yeah.
I remember when that happened.
That was a wild night. He really hit his noggin pretty hard, but it was almost one of those. It's like, I don't know if he didn't realize like how big he was. He just like shifted his weight. It just went down. It wasn't no like trying to stage dive or anything. It was just a weird nose diving accident, and it was, I don't know.
Busta's.
I don't know why I'm laughing about it, but it's almost like when it's like snowing outside. You know what I mean? And it's icy. You kind of like, you have license to laugh at everybody when they fall because you know you're gonna fall too. And it's like a pass it forward thing. You hope somebody's laughing at you too, as long as nobody's getting a concussion or something. You know?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think he got concussed, but anyway, I don't know.
Busta's huge. Busta's just a monster of a man.
He's a big dude.
But he's not tall, right? I think he's like under 6 foot.
I think it was like he was like boob heavy that night. I don't know what was
Busta,
I think Busta. He's 6'1". He's 6'1".
He's 6'1".
I have to look it up. I was like, I think he's pretty tall.
He's a big guy.
Well, he got jacked.
Yeah.
And then he got fat.
Yeah. Because he stopped working out.
Yeah.
Him and Timbo. Timbo got fucking jacked for no reason, just to sit in the studio.
But he stays jacked. He's still jacked.
Yeah.
He also stays drinking a jug of some weird liquids all the time in the studio, you know?
Yeah.
I don't see a picture of Timbo without like some giant like jug of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's just a strange dude. Timbo's a strange dude, man. He's been there for every big hit, but also it's like, why are you so jacked?
I think it's so that he can get into like arm wrestling kind of things with like Dr. Dre and stuff, because they're both kind of like the super producers from East Coast, and they're like super jacked.
Yeah, Dre's jacked too. Dre's billionaire jacked. He's like, oh, I'll fucking
yeah.
Just for no reason at all.
I looked up how tall Busta Rhymes was, and I got a bunch of heights for different rappers.
Run it.
Go ahead.
Method Man is 6'3".
Okay.
LL Cool J is 6'2".
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? LL Cool J, I've never met him, but he's one of those guys I always thought was probably like 5'8", but they just always made him look like he was tall.
Right.
Ja Rule is 5'9".
Okay.
Sounds right.
DMX was 5'11".
Okay.
Jay-Z is 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
Redman is 6'1". Nas is 5'8". Biggie was 6'3".
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
Biggie was 6'3".
Weird.
I never imagined he was that tall.
Damn, I didn't think he was that tall.
I was like 5'8", best 5'8", 5'9".
I would have gone.
That's a tall motherfucker.
Tops.
You know what? Now I'm thinking about Biggie bars, and he said how in one of his bars he said he wears size 13. So he's a fucking tall guy.
He's a tall dude.
I wear size 13. I'm only 6 foot though.
Yeah, ain't no biggie.
Well, you got fucking clown feet.
No biggie, man. Who's the tallest? Slim Thug, right? 6'7" or 2 Chainz? 6'7" probably.
Oh, definitely 2 Chainz.
Yeah, it's got to be Chainz.
He's tall. He's like NBA tall.
Oh, how tall is Game?
Is he tall?
Yeah,
Game's not tall, is he?
Yeah, Game was
I met
Game went to Washington State.
6'4".
Yeah, Game played at Washington State before he got kicked out.
What about Master P?
J. Cole is 6'2". Master P is 6'4".
2023, we haven't heard much about J. Cole's basketball career yet this year yet.
That's right. He was hooping for a little bit overseas.
Yeah.
Well, J. Cole's searching YouTube, finding new beats now.
Oh, that's true.
I like that song though.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's
good.
it.
I don't hate it.
I also like the idea of going on SoundCloud and typing J. Cole or YouTube and put J. Cole type beat. Just like picking one and then blessing the producer. That's like
right. It's about time that an artist does that, right?
Yeah.
That's
and the funny thing is, it's like that's such a like popular thing, but now it's just like now go even harder with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, make a type beat for everybody.
Yeah.
What's the royalties on that when you shoot first and you're like, oh, by the way, thanks for the track? Like, how do you send that contract?
I think it's just SoundCloud plays, and then figured out for that, unless like the label gets in touch with them or something.
Yeah.
But
Fucking
I think all they did was basically just put out the link to that person's
right.
Right?
And then
Yeah,
boom.
I think so too.
That's tight.
That
Last two questions for the lightning round, and then we're gonna get into some history.
I forgot we were filming lightning round.
We're still
Never
just barely
lightning anymore.
We're still in it.
lightning strikes twice. Prince or Michael Jackson?
Prince.
And last but not least, Outkast or Hall & Oates?
Outkast.
Okay, easy enough.
Easy
enough. So we talked about it a little bit, and I think I met you during Mad Decent Block Party era.
And that's when I met you too, Joe.
And you met Travis too.
Yeah. Yeah, yes. Back in 2005.
Someone asked
2015, sorry, 15.
Yeah,
I say 2005. I'm tripping. 2015.
Yeah, we started in 2008. So
we posted up to ask questions for Joe. Trill Scott said, "What was your favorite Mad Decent Block Party memory?"
Good question, Trill.
Oh man. I guess it was probably the second Mad Decent Block Party, which was the one which was actually like it was an actual block party on 12th Street in 12th and Spring Garden, where because after that, the next time, because this is the thing where like when we first did the block parties, the Mad Diplo's like studio, the Mad Decent Mausoleum was like right there. And so the block party basically took place on that block. And so we basically went around with like a petition you get from City Hall that you pay like $15 for, and you got to get 3/4 of the neighbors to just basically sign off and say it's okay. So we were just going door to door to get people to sign off on that. And then we did a second year. And then the third year, when they went in trying to get the permit, they were like, man, you had like Converse and Pepsi and all this stuff. Like, this ain't no block party. You can't just do this for $15. So they just basically like, then it started moving to actual proper venues after that. But the second year, there was like, I was at the time I was like, managing both like the Brick Bandits and also like, meaning like at that time, like DJ Tamil and rest in peace, Tim Dalla. And also like DJ Sega. And we've been working really hard to push DJ Sega, as just like the voice of like, Philly club music and stuff, and like the face of it, and his EPs on like, Mad Decent and Holotronics and remixes and stuff. And he had just like his set that day with Tim Dalla on the mic. It was just one of those things where it just felt like it just like changed the world. Like it was just like the whole city was just sort of galvanized. Everybody was going crazy to club music and going super hard. And there were just like people just like in every window looking out and stuff. It was just epic. I don't know. That was just like, that was a really, really awesome moment where I felt like we had it's like something amazing going on,
Did anyone have the foresight to record those from that time, or is it just kind of out there?
That's a good question.
Good question. I think there were people, for all I know, Fader might have been out there that day and stuff. This is the second one, and it's obviously like low and stuff. So there were definitely a lot of people that came down from New York for this. So I imagine that there is, and also System D128, Dewey.
Dewey, yeah.
I'm sure that Dewey filmed a lot of it too, but like,
I need a doc.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to see just like footage of that, especially that Sega and Tim Dalla. I do believe though, and honestly, like general consensus though, if you really like heads that know, the very first Mad Decent Block Party, the first one, the year before that, I think I had the best set that day, but that's just that's
like
neither here nor there.
I like that.
Yeah.
But like that next year, man, Sega definitely took it, and then Tim Dalla was on the mic, and he just had everybody going super crazy, and it was cool.
I know when I went with Riff that we did have somebody filming, and I lost touch with that dude, so I don't even know if Riff even talks to him anymore. I know that his Riff's tour manager, Michael Clack, doesn't even talk to that guy anymore. So I know somebody was filming when I was there.
Yeah.
Was that Joe? Was that the moment when you realized that Philly was kind of at the forefront for this blog era sound and everything?
Well, not specifically that moment. I kind of just saw that coming like from the moment I moved here. I moved to Philly from New York in like late 2002. And then early 2003, I started running the store Armand's, which is where all the DJs were like shopping and stuff. And so I was like managing and doing the buying from there. And you could just sort of like, I mean, everything from like, you know, just like the way the like club music scene was and what they were doing with like Holotronics, putting all this different stuff together. And then you had this guy, you had Dave P and like Making Time, where they're booking like all like the Rapture and all those type of bands, like before they were really, really popular and stuff. So you just had all these like kind of waves going on in Philly that were just super like popular and super DIY at the same time. And I think I don't know, you could tell back then, but by the time we were around to the second block party, I felt like we kind of already had like the whole world on Smash a little bit. The holler board had been going for years and stuff. And it was kind of like a hub for like, basically like you would have like, you know, internet places where if you were into a specific type of music, like this is where you go, you know, but then you had Holotronics where it's just like doing all kinds of shit. This is where you go. This is the marketplace of all kinds of different musical ideas. And I think by that point, like Philly had kind of established itself as the epicenter of that. So
yeah. It seemed like there was so much more music coming out of Philly.
What's that?
It seemed like there was so much more music coming out of Philly in comparison to, obviously you had LA and you had New York, and Chicago had its scene with Cool Kids and that kind of vibe.
Atlanta was coming up.
There was just, it seemed like everyone was looking to Baltimore and Philly at that time. I want to talk about Fader Fort as well, and that South by Southwest with Brick Bandits, because I think that was kind of a game changer too.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing, because at that point we were bringing together like 3 factions of Brick Bandits, and this was all just like, you know, 6-7 people traveling in a car to get there, coming from 3 different places. But we had like our, you know, we had obviously like the original OG Brick Bandits from, you know, Newark with Mike V and Tim Dalla and Tamil. And then we also had like the Philly, you know, the Philly chapter, which was like me and Sega, DJ Yamin. And then we had Chicago Brick Bandits, which were also this like group called Ghetto Division. And that was Rob Threezy and Charlie Glitch and Rampage, these guys, like Mad Jazz.
Yeah.
We just like, we're all, it was cool because Brick Bandits was like, you know, we were just like kind of unifying club music through these different places and trying to like big it up on a global scale. But at the same time, it was almost like a after school, like
like a chess club, after school chess club.
Yeah. No, exactly. Because like, especially in Newark, like literally like meetings would be like 30, 40 producers and aspiring producers meeting at Mike V's house, and just like this one person and like passing like drum kits along to the next one and giving them like teaching them how to use like Fruity Loops and stuff. And it was just like kind of like a factory, you know, of just like you know, new ideas and stuff. So it was cool. It was a cool time, sure.
Do you foresee the blog movement ever coming back, where people want to hear from individual people like their taste and stuff?
Yeah, once I don't know, TikTok collapses or something.
Yeah.
I think like we're just sort of we're past the point where like the way we used to consume things, like it's just completely, it's just, you know, it's compartmentalized so much differently these days that I don't think any of the past movements are gonna like come back around in quite the same way as they were before. Maybe there's like a different evolution of that, but like what I don't think blogs will ever really be like what they were, because people don't have like those type of attention spans. But it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how just like there's like not a lot of like unified internet forces of music that really have like deliberate like influence or something. You know what I mean? Everything is just very, 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 very scattered, and you can just kind of stay in your own little bubble wherever you are. You know?
Really.
And people tend to, because they don't know any better. You know?
You do it by accident.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was just telling somebody the other day, like, I don't really play like top 40 hip hop and R&B in my sets. And so I was like, where do you even hear that stuff? Like, I'll go to the club and hear my friends play, and I'm like, I've never heard this song in my life, and it's popping.
Right.
Like, if you're not plugged into whatever
used to be plugged in was just like
turning on your car.
Yeah, but plugged in was like, here it is. Here's the main line.
Yeah.
You get plugged in and you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Now you can be plugged into something, but there's like, it's like some fucking, you know, it's like a time travel. Now there's like all these different branches.
Yep.
Plugged in it. So it's just like, in order to be plugged into everything, you would have to clone yourself and have that clone be working 24/7 to be tapped into stuff, and then have another clone basically filtering through that to get to the good stuff. And it's just like, it's a lot these days. There's just like way too, there's just way too many routes.
With the accessibility, too many options.
Yeah, exactly.
Even just to stay up on Atlanta rap, you would just need to dedicate just a whole stream of just like that. I'm just paying attention to what's going on down there.
Yeah,
like with how much is getting put out from down there, from even if you're just a Lil Baby fan. If you're like, I'm just gonna follow Lil Baby, and you're like, I can't even stay on top of everything coming out.
Colin, I don't know about you, but with me, I'm finding myself mixing so many songs a lot faster lately, and just because of the attention span of people.
Yeah, and I think, Joe, you can probably attest to this too. You have Drake Night. You have a lot of shit that people want to hear from albums and albums and albums. Now, are you playing adjacent stuff as well, like collaborations and other stuff like that?
Well, the way it's I've been doing that for like, started that party in 2014, and I just had one this past weekend, and we it's a 5-hour night, and to this point it's just like for the first like 3 hours of the night we're playing like everything in hip hop under the sun that's not Drake, in rap that's like popular, especially like like what young people are kind of into more than anything.
Right. Like, Gorilla, Ice Spice.
Yeah, definitely like it, an oldie is like Hard in the Paint, you know what I mean? Or Finito or something. Those are like old songs, you know what I mean? Like, but and then we do like 2 hours, just like a 2-hour block of Drake. But one thing I realized we this last one we did it, we actually expanded it to be 3 hours of Drake, just because when I started the party in 2014 it was 2 hours, and now it's like 10 albums later, like you know what I mean? He's just got so much music, so it's just kind of a feel thing. It's just like kind of like whatever. It's provocative, whatever gets the people going. And obviously, like when there's a new record, like Her Loss and stuff, like you're gonna play a lot of the new cuts from a new record. Yeah. And then you're gonna, you're gonna drop certain standards, and you want to get, and also like having 3 hours is cool because you can get a little bit deeper, with the catalog. So might stick with that format, because just like I almost feel like with the 2 hours, it's so easy to find 2 hours straight of like Drake bangers and stuff that I feel like maybe myself and DJ Heavenly, my DJ partners, like I feel like maybe, not saying it was starting to get stale or anything like that, but like it just feels like there's like just wasn't enough time to play all like of his music, because
to kind of get loose.
So many big hits that are just like you have to play, kind of,
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it's funny because talking to her the other night when when we were talking about doing 3 hours, and she was like, "Oh, I don't want to like, you know, blow my load, so to speak." You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
and then as we were going, and it was actually kind of like more freeing to have that extra hour than it was to be compressed to the 2 hours. And I think she found out, like we both found, like the flow was actually like low key, like easier. So I mean, it's just a testament to the fact that the guy is like made, 35% of the popular music of the last decade,
Right.
And it helps too that he has a label too with a whole bunch of great artists, because I did a Drake night and it ended up being just like an OVO night.
Right.
And I'm just playing everybody off the label along with like 4 hours of Drake.
Yeah.
When you add that third hour, are you now sprinkling in album cuts, or are you doing like the last hour is deeper? Or are you just reeling out the hits and then throwing the deeper cuts at the end? Or are you just like kind of sprinkling them throughout?
I mean, even the deeper cuts have got to be hits, you know what I mean? And I think that's kind of like the thing, like with, like even,
that's true. There's not really a deep cut Drake song. Like they're all.
There's just eras. Like what I'm learning now is there's like a whole like there's Drake sets for certain like age groups too, I would say the average age of people at this party is probably like 20, 22, 23. It's like really young. So kind of have to like realize that a lot of the stuff
that's crazy.
It is.
A lot of the Drake music that was like popular to some people that would be like, say, in their 30s,
right,
they might not even know it.
Right.
These kids were in like 5th grade, 4th grade, whatever. Yeah.
Yo, you throw Replacement Girls in there in that set?
Oh, nah.
Yeah, that's way too old. Exactly.
And never ever will. Because
what was Drake's first mixtape? The one with the balloons?
Right, Comeback Season. And
Replacement
like Girls was on that.
Yeah, dude. I remember even I was listening to that. Like
City Is Mine. Oh my God.
He had like the little brother drawn on there.
Yeah.
Maybe later that night, when his parents picked them up from the concert.
So
they'll listen to that in their car or something. But
which album do you start with?
Oh, it's not. I mean, again, it's all like it's usually most of the time when there's a new album, start with something from the album.
Yeah.
I mean, this last night, like the last song we played that wasn't Drake was obviously Lil Uzi. I Just Wanna Rock, and because that's like the biggest song in the city, and
right, it's a big,
and it's a big song. So I mixed directly from that into Sticky to just like start off with Drake, because we were just in that club music groove. But generally, it's kind of like it's usually related to like whatever the newest record is, whatever the newest hits are. Like it's super rare that we'd want to like. It was January. It was the first Drake night of the year. I low key did kind of want to play Over, just because there are way too many people here right now that I didn't know last year. That's almost the same thing as that cringy friend that says like, last time I'll see you all year, or this is the last shower I take this year.
See you next year.
On New Year's Eve. Like, so it was kind of like, so it ended up being like Sticky this time, but I don't know. It always kind of like factors into whatever is, at the same time, like I was also low key thinking about starting that new like Popcorn and Drake song too, just because, then you could just start the night off on like that 100 BPM island vibes. And that's the best part about doing this party is like when you talk about Drake's music, do you want, Spanish Drake, Jamaican Drake, Toronto Drake? Do you want Houston Drake? Do you want Memphis Drake? Like you got all these different Drakes that like, and all these different types of music that he makes, which like you can't really say that about too many other artists that have like so many hits and so many different styles.
He's the best method actor. He's the absolute best method actor that there's ever been. Sure. Like he can chameleon into different scenes. Yeah. And I want to ask this. Hypothetically speaking, when Drake goes out to Ibiza for 2 weeks and comes back with an album, where does that fit in? And do you kind of change your approach? Are you like, what the fuck?
I mean, you could kind of go back to like what Hold On, We're Going Home.
Yeah.
That was kind of like and
Take Care.
Yeah, and Take Care. Like, you had those
he had passion fruit.
That guy can do no wrong, It was like, that's why it was like, I thought it was really refreshing when Honestly Nevermind came out.
Yeah.
And that was just like, just like a dance album, but
yeah.
it was like this, nothing on the record sounded like anything currently in dance music. You could, it was, I don't know, it was different, but it was like, it made sense. Like,
so here's my question, circling back to last episode. You mixing in Massive. Are you doing that?
Are you using Massive in your sets at all?
For sure. Like,
Okay.
when the record first dropped, I mean, that was the thing, is like, that was like, when that record first dropped, there was a couple of nights where towards the end of the night, it was honestly some unts that felt like you were in a completely different party, but
right.
But then like 2 months later, nah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Like when it was brand new, everybody was like, yeah. But then once the dust settled a little bit, everybody's like,
yeah.
All right, we heard it for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Like Sticky's always gonna go off.
Yeah.
I mean, Massive was a great tune, a keeper, Massive. But like for the most part, like, the Calling My Name.
Calling My Name. Oh my God, I love that song.
That shit's still.
It's too short for me. I wish it was longer.
But then, like, if you got another dancey song to play after that, then that's one of those songs that probably can stay in the catalog like forever. You know what I mean? Like in the repertoire. But the rest of the record, the more time goes on, the more people are like, nah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Is Drake due for the Essentials album yet?
Oh my God, which one? Like, he should be due for like three volumes.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like,
you can do an
now that
A-side,
we're talking about
B-side,
how
C-side.
long he's been.
Drake is due for a 4 a.m. Time Life, infomercial.
Yeah, box set.
Yeah. 6 payments of $12.99.
Yeah.
Right after
complete Drake
right
collection.
after like the Shirley Temple movie video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that and Girls Gone Wild. That's the only thing showing at that time. I don't even think Girls Gone Wild.
Girls Gone Wild, the Shirley Temple box set,
and then,
followed by the Drake infomercial.
Miss Cleo was on there too, though.
Time Life presents Drake.
Yeah,
there you go.
Decade by decade, you end up getting like 3 decades worth of like.
You do solid gold Drake.
Yeah. Solid gold Drake. Yep.
Did you notice a lot of Philly and Baltimore sound in that Honestly Nevermind?
Oh yeah, I mean it was completely that. I mean, if you notice, like, one thing that's been amazing about like what's going on with like club music now is like, thanks to Drake doing Sticky and Lil Uzi Vert, I Just Want to Rock, and then you've got like artists like D4M Sloan,
Give me more Jersey,
Lay Banks, Bandman Real from Jersey. But one thing I mentioned about the rest of these rappers that I'm mentioning, PGS Spence, Stu Brock, Rod, the Philly Goats, like DJ Crazy, like all of these are Philly artists, and most of them are rappers, and everybody's just like writing songs and rapping and making like, actual rap and R&B songs over club stuff now. So it's like, it's moved on from being like this producer-driven thing to being an artist-driven thing. And 99% of these artists, with the major exception of Bandman Real from Newark, from Jersey, the rest of them, they're all from Philly. So all this like this movement and this wave of where club music is becoming more and more mainstream all the time, of the Baltimore, Jersey, like Philly club sound, it's all kind of being really popularized by Philly rappers. And and it's a really like, with all like the dancing and everything, it's just like a really, really positive thing that a city like this really, really, really needs. What was the question again?
Oh, no. If you heard that Philly sound in the Drake album.
Oh, yeah. But the album, so that, the head A&R on that album was Carnage.
Right.
And, he led him to that place to like, and if you notice in the Sticky video, all the dancers, that are in that video is all Philly kids.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't just like, hey, I'm Drake, it's 2022, I want to make a Jersey club album. It was, I think, I'm Drake. I noticed that people, especially these Philly rappers, are going crazy on these Jersey club beats, or, you know, whatever, Philly club, Jersey club. But the point is, like, that was, I think, the thing that like influenced him more than anything to get on that wave. And I think that was what he was, you know, doing with like Currents and especially Sticky was like, I mean, Currents sounds like Baltimore and Sticky sounds like Jersey. But it's like, it's kind of weird. Like, here's where Drake's like amazing, like as just far as like having an ear as an artist, is because to be like this artist getting out of your like normal lane and making a dance music album, like it's so easy to make bad like EDM. You know what I mean? There's no EDM about that record. It's all like kind of like underground sounds. Like it's all like, there's no giant big like Swedish House Mafia kind of drops and kind of bombastic goofy shit. Like it's kind of like in the pocket, you know what I mean? Like, it's like it stays. The only thing that was like strange to me was like, I thought there would be like UKG vibes at some point on there, you know? Like, and again, if you go back to like More Life, he kind of already did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he did that
like,
already.
So, yeah, he already
KMD,
did the songs with like Georgia Smith and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, I wouldn't have been surprised if there was like one or two more songs on that record that kind of like were in that kind of like more of a UK style. But nah, man, this record was strictly like Baltimore, Jersey, Chicago house, and
you know, I'm a Piano like, too.
Yes, there was. Yeah, that was on there too. So it's just like they're
more like underground vibes. Yeah, like
that whole OVO, like that level of like refinement, where there's not a single touch of a whole dance music album by the biggest artist in the world that has like any of that like kind of like cartoonish EDM element to it, is just, that's amazing. That's amazing. Like that and also like Carnage is like a completely like huge in the world of like giant drops. Big room house and big room trap music and stuff. So even for all of those people to filter things down and make it kind of a down and dirty dance music album, you know what I mean? Like that shit was really impressive to me. I thought that was one of the most interesting and refreshing things about it, was not only does like it, you know, the sounds in that record, you know, it's not gonna change the world or anything, but it was definitely like an expansion of like what those sounds were, with a lot of like vocal stylings on there that, you know, you might not normally, you know, hear, you know? So absolutely. Actually also, yeah, I think it was missing a K-Tronada beat too. Just one. Like he probably could have had one cut with K-Tronada on there.
Does Drake have any songs with K-Tronada?
Nah. You know, that's one of the biggest mysteries in the world, is how has that not happened? Because
that's wild.
You would think once K-Tronada popped off, that Drake immediately would be like, okay, it needs to be done, because that's usually how it goes.
You know, I bet you there's some story of reaching out in the past and probably getting rejected or something. Who knows?
Yeah. They have to know each other. They have to, 100%. Or at least, you know, I 100%. mean, it's K-Tronada. Yeah. A couple years ago, I'd be like, I don't know. But like, man, it's K-Tronada.
At this point, K-Tronada's massive.
Yeah.
Like he's not some underground popular best kept secret.
And then on the level, like, you know, even you could sort of say that going back 5 years ago too, you know?
Yeah.
Like he was still like the dude, you know, for like that sort of like those vibes. So I'm really surprised that they don't have like any collaborations today.
If it happened now, would it be too late, or will we all be stoked?
I don't think it would be too late.
I don't think it'd be too late at all. I think it actually, everybody would be pretty damn stoked, because
there's way too many new DJs out here.
I don't think that it would ever see the light of day unless they cooked up some really, really good shit, you know?
Yeah. There's so many new DJs out here that are doing that soul selection sound, you know, that
it's crazy to me that it hasn't gotten played out yet.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could have worse influences than that type of style.
100%.
Like at least it's all like at least
it's cool shit.
Yeah. It's like a lot of people trying to make cool shit. Like nothing wrong with that.
Joe, have you considered running your own label before?
I actually have 2 labels that have some music out, but like they're both kind of like on like a weird hiatus. I have this label called Old Head that I did with Matt Decent.
Oh shit!
Put out the Brick Bandits EP. We put out some Sega mixtapes, and this never released EP from this chick Miss Streams. But we put out the Brick Bandits vinyl and EP on Old Head, and then I also have another label called Deluxe that I put out a record from this Philly producer named Get 'Em, and then a couple other little things here and there. But both of those things have kind of been not functioning for the last few years. Although I've talked to Matt Decent about bringing back Old Head at some point.
Hell yeah!
But as of right now, like I would kind of need to I don't really have an artist in mind that I would really want to focus that around. You know what I mean? I don't want to have a label just to have a label. I want to like expose something that's exciting and new to me that I'm just like not really coming across at the moment. So
right. But you're still throwing parties actively, and I feel like you definitely have your finger on the pulse to where you know so much fucking music, point blank period. It's like it's a no-brainer. And I did want to bring up outside of knowing a lot of music, you are a podcaster as well. The podcast is on hiatus. America's Realest DJs podcast, Ard Pod.
Ard.
Yeah, the Ard Pod with
Ard. I like
with Low Beezy. You guys had so many dope guests on there. I saw Amanda Blank was on there.
Yeah, she's on a couple times.
Yeah. What got you into podcasting? Friend of the show. Yeah.
Well, Mike and I have just been like really close friends for a long time now. And one thing that's always, we like through the years, we basically spend a lot of time, especially via text and in any real life situations, trying to make the other person laugh. And so we just sort of thought like, let's do a podcast, because it was kind of it just seemed like something what do all like men decide to do at a certain point in time to do podcasts? Like,
tell me about it.
Yeah.
It has to happen at some point. So we started doing it. And during the pandemic, we like slowed down to a crawl and did like a couple of episodes. And then since then, it's actually like part of my move is like, I'm actually going to kind of rig my loft here, my museum, and we're gonna start filming, like, because our podcast was always just audio only, but we're gonna start doing video and doing it from my couch and stuff like that. So we're gonna bring the podcast back soon at some point. But I don't know, I really enjoy just basically going over whatever popular culture items there are of the moment and just trying to make my friend laugh, which is pretty much the whole point.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Colin. Sorry.
I think, for me, when we started this, it was important. I had the angle of I wanted to document a lot that went on in the blog era and the history of that, because I feel like it's starting to get written about. There's the book that just came out, Never Be Alone Again. I feel like there's so much history and so many incredible acts that this generation now would swarm to, like Spank Rock, like Amanda Blank, like the roots of a lot of sounds that you hear now.
Sure.
From artists that need to get their flowers, like there was so much that happened, even the Rapture and stuff like that, where people are like, oh, I don't know, or if Block Party didn't translate to Gen Z or whatever. But I feel like those early era, like Scion tours and stuff like that, there's a lot of things you heard from those moments that just kind of got erased, where people just don't know about it, Right. And a lot of dope labels, including, early stuff that was out on Mad Decent, stuff that was out on Trouble and Bass, like all that, It's just crazy to think about. And even some of the mashups and stuff from Hollerboard would be fucking huge on TikTok now.
I mean,
like
all of it was like documented and of that time where like DJ culture transitioned from vinyl to like MP3 too, you know? So it was like, there was only like one dawn, like one time, you know, and that was it, you know, that was like, that was kind of like when all this stuff was happening was sort of at that point where the trend, you know, which is like the embryonic stages of everything that goes on now with like, with, you know, different pockets of music and the way that it's like spread, you know? So it's like, it's just going to take another Zac Efron movie.
movie. I love Zac Efron, man.
It really was a meeting. I think the Bloghouse era was just a perfect like meeting of technology shifting.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's right in the middle. It's the perfect like millennial era because it's like we all came from analog, but we're going into digital. Social media is very young. It like, you know, we're still in MySpace, just about to get into Facebook. So like
Tumblr just started.
Tumblr just started, but we still have blog spots. So like people are still writing blogs and people are still reading blogs or like WordPresses.
Yo, for real. We can
forums exist. And so like we can burn CDs, which we can DJ out. Like now it's like we're so far into the digital age.
Yeah.
That like all that shit sounds almost analog now. So I just don't feel like it can happen again necessarily because our technology has just gone too far.
It can only happen.
It was so DIY back then.
There's like I don't know if it was a YouTube I watched or something, or just some story about like kids these days are turning down smartphones and getting flip phones so that they, you know, because if you really break it down, like there's kids that were like born with their parents having phones in their hands. And then at a certain age, they had an iPhone too. And a certain so in the same way as like DJs are just like, you know, I only DJ, you know, I'm a vinyl DJ or some kind of like a throwback way. Like maybe people are going to start to treat like this kind of like the way we, you know, technology is in that same sort of way where they're just kind of like, maybe, you know, you form a deeper connection with what's going on when you have less, when it's like less easily digestible and easily obtainable than it is right now, you know?
Yeah.
Do you remember that transition when you were like, I'm going off vinyl and going into Serato?
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember it very specifically because like, it, you know, from running the store and seeing, you know, the whole time things were changing and I was trying to get the store Armands to really be like, look, we have a stupid influence over people, like over all the DJs in like the Northeast, not just Philly. Like people would come from all over to the store, but like what we have with this, we have to make available, you know, online, you know, or else this place is doomed. You know what I mean? This is like a timer before like things are just not relevant, you know? And they didn't really see the writing on the wall. And like, you know, you had like, at the time you had like a thing like Turntable Lab, you know, became that place because there it was, you know, like kind of like online representing a lot of these aligned sort of interests of the time. But yeah, I just like, me personally, it was just like a certain point where like hot, you know, if something was really hot, like it might not be on vinyl, you know, might never come on the vinyl. Like it might, so it's just like you gotta want to get to the place where you're playing hot shit all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, if you're trying to be like up on like new relevant stuff. So, you know, at that point, it was like a move to like, you know, CDJs and MP3s. But,
and you were throwing, go ahead. Sorry, Joe.
No, I was just gonna say, I'm only like, at a certain point in time, I probably had like 20,000 records. I'll have like less than a crate, and some of them are like records that I put out. You know what I mean? Like I'm not really like, but I think I'm like finally like 15 years later at some point where I kind of low key want to start a record collection. like from, you know, from scratch. But then I'm like, what do I want? You know, what is it that I want to? Because like there was a certain point in time where I was like, yo, this spot where this fucking round petroleum over here, like taking up all this space, like this could be plants. This could be producing oxygen in my house. Like I see you got the record wall behind you. But like I just reached a certain point where I was like like Calgon, take me away. Like this is like too many records. Like I was moving from place to place, and you know they got to go with you everywhere you go. So it's just like,
especially out there, man.
Yeah,
a lot of stairs.
Hella stairs.
Like I don't miss certain aspects of it, but I do miss it in that sort of like, you know, grandparents telling their kids about how they had to go to school with like, you know, uphill both ways in the snow, barefoot or whatever. You know what I mean? Like just
there's something special about it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. To have those experiences as a DJ when you used to just like I didn't, you know, 6 or 8 crates in a cab at the end of the night, and like making sure you don't get robbed, bringing your shit back in the house. Like,
yeah,
I don't miss it, but I do, you know.
Yeah,
crazy. Things are pretty easy these days.
I wanted to touch a little bit on the open format sound. It seems like it's kind of coming back around. It's always kind of been there, but there's more value now to people that can play everything. It seems like the crowds know way more music now. And I know you guys were breaking that sound out there too, but you know, you and Diplo and there was a lot of stuff, even AM and stuff like that, where you'd hear everything. You'd hear rock, you'd hear rap, you'd hear reggae, you'd hear throughout the night. Do you feel from your personal experience that the crowds have become more susceptible to all genres now, or they're still in their own lane?
I think it kind of, I feel like a lot of it just sort of depends on like the skill level of the DJ. Like, you know, the best DJs can always kind of mix in some stuff that they personally find cool, as long as they know how to like throw 3 records that people already know, you know, on before they throw that 4th record that people don't know, and then, you know, get out of it pretty quick into something else that they know. Like I feel like it's like kind of like, it's not something that you can kind of just sort of like give a blanket judgment to. I feel like it kind of depends on whose hands it's in, you know? Like the level of selector.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that a lot of the DJs coming up these days, a lot of the younger ones are like, you know, kind of like well-versed in probably a lot more varied and different sounds than maybe, you know, because it was like, you know, you just, I don't know, years ago, you just had like, you had scenes, you know, you had like stuff you were into, and it was like, there was able to be like sort of physical cultures around each of those type of scenes. And nowadays, when everything is just like online, everything is just kind of like spread out and a little more everywhere.
Very true. I always wonder about scenes like that concept. And obviously none of us are teenagers anymore, so I don't really know if that's still like, does subculture still exist in the internet age? Like, I remember, like, you know, we were all, you know, you kicked it with the skaters, you did skater shit and you listened to skater shit. Or you kicked it with punk kids and you went to punk shows and you listened to punk music, or the hip hop guys who listen to rap music. And like what are there subcultures like that anymore? I wonder. Because like white kids are listening to rap, and they're making rap, and emo kids are making rap, and everybody's just making rap. So I wonder, like, if like young culture, like, is there subcultures like that? Like, is it separated like that, or is everything kind of mashed up and then leaning in one area?
The reason why I don't think there really is the same way is because of actual like physical spaces for people to gather.
Right.
And that's one of those things that I actually like majorly miss about that record store era, is just like on a Saturday morning, like first thing in the day, like it would be like 11, 12 o'clock, and the store would have like 250, 300 people in there. And like half of them were DJs that like had to get that one record that they didn't have that Friday night, the night before, you know what I mean? Because,
right.
Like, and everybody's like gathering in one place, and it was like almost like a, you know, like a library of sorts, but like loud, you know? And as time has gone on, there's just kind of like less and less, especially in the like post-pandemic era where we all got used to just basically like being by ourselves and just having the internet for a good year and a half. Like we're just kind of like, I don't think that the subcultures are kind of like there in the same way, because there's just like not kind of like the spaces and the events and places for people to physically gather. And I think that you know, that the space that the internet creates while at the same time bringing people together, like it kind of leaves things open in that sort of like, you know, just knowing a little bit about everything kind of a space. Like I don't think people are getting together the same way.
I do wonder about like young DJs influences, like in this age. Obviously, I'm assuming like Boiler Room, Selection, and like things like that are like obviously probably live festival sets are a really big one. That's probably like more so what they're into, if I had to be honest.
Well, I brought up that Zac Efron movie, but I know when I was younger, I know that, I mean, it was like DJs that were younger than me, but I know that the movie Juice was a super big influence on people. Lots of people decided to be DJs after watching Juice. And I knew some kids that literally practiced those routines from the movie, like, you know what I mean? Like all the
Shout out Payman.
Shout out Payman. That's literally what he said last episode.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, Juice started and I learned that routine.
But then somebody else, the episode before that said that too.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of people say,
check this out. Now it's 20 years later. And who knows, maybe that Zac Efron 120 BPM movie, maybe that influenced these younger kids that we're talking about. Who knows?
Crazy.
What got them into it? But like, it might have been.
That's their juice.
That's their juice, bro. What would that sounds horrible, but at the same time, like that's just what time does when it marches on.
You know what else?
And Boiler Room sets.
I was gonna say Kate Tronada's Boiler Room set, I think, is a lot of kids.
Yeah. But that even translated to people over 25 too, where you're like, that's the closest in my mind. That's the closest to what the blog era and all of that, like Justice and all of that we'll ever see ever again.
Yeah, I think so.
It's like that glimpse right there.
Mm-hmm.
I think also Shaq being like a very excitable trap EDM DJ. Like, yeah. And just like going on record, not that saying it's like that big an influence, but just like DJing has been raised people kind of like jokingly look at DJs as like on some like, right there with influencers and other like useless jobs, like the joke about like all these, like, is there a doctor? No, I'm a DJ. I'm a DJ.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, if you were Shaquille O'Neal and have like 4 NBA championships and all of this stuff, and then you tell people like, because like when they asked Shaq about DJing, he's like, yo, that's when I'm DJing to a crowd, like that's like the same feeling, the same rush, same adrenaline as I felt when I was playing like basketball better than anybody in the world. Like, and like that indescribable kind of like, well, he described it pretty well, but like that level of like the serotonin burst that you can get from DJing at a high level and stuff. And like, I don't think people are ever going to stop chasing that. Like, it's always kind of like an exciting like feeling. You don't get it from that many jobs. Right. You know what I mean? You don't get to connect with people. You don't get to influence people. You're like, I don't know.
Yeah, if you guys haven't watched, go ahead and watch the, sorry, Colin, just real quick, go ahead and watch The Boys of 98 when they go to LSU for the LSU Alabama game, and Shaq was the DJ for the pep rally, and it was just absolutely insane. Absolutely.
I'm still so
from 98. Is that what you said?
No, okay. The Boys of 98. That's it's the YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, Shaq was DJing in 98.
That would have been crazy. Imagine
dropping
that.
dubstep bombs in 1998.
1998,
wasn't he?
I love the fact that is like, but I do love the fact that like EDM trap and dubsteps is and like just big drop like crazy womp womp stuff is like Shaq's bag.
Right.
Like, it's like a sound that like low key died in 2016.
Kind of played, yeah.
But at the same time, like it still exists. There's still like people that are into it. But like, and it still fucking rocks the shit out of like EDM festivals and raves and shit like that. But like, that's like a perfect sound for hit to be like Shaq's thing. You know what I mean? Like,
and it makes that sound comfortable.
There's your scene question, Neek. That's a whole fucking scene over there.
That's 100%. You're 100% right.
Yeah,
that's a scene.
That's a scene.
Bass music, trap, step, all that stuff. Like that is a fucking scene.
And those guys, Shaq makes it comfortable for black DJs to get into that too, and makes it so that we're not feeling insecure when we put on those songs and we get those looks from other black people. Like, yo, what the fuck are you playing?
Episode. That is a whole episode.
It is. It really is.
Shaq the hero.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. No, for real. Real talk. I
laugh at Shaq a little bit, but I kind of fuck with that.
No, seriously, like watching him do that makes me feel a little less insecure about putting on those songs.
Because you like bass music.
I like all music,
and I know I know you want to play. I know because we talk about we'll talk about Skrillex. I'm like, I'm not really in, but you're in.
Yeah,
you guys are in.
I love a lot of like fucking shit that wants to peel my face off. Like music that's just like heavy as fuck. That just like dance music and stuff. So like it, even like the actual sounds of it will morph and stuff through the years, but still the bottom line is like crazy, go out of your mind type, like wild, like get in the pit type of shit like that. It's super fun. Yeah. And I've always just been enamored by the fact that it was like of all the sounds for like to be associated with the Big Diesel. Like that's the shit that he's into, and I don't know.
So funny to associate.
Made me really happy about.
But yeah, and it's happy. It's happy music too. It makes people feel good. So many times we're playing hip hop, man, and it's just like
a fight's happening.
Shoot them up. Let's take some drugs. Let's fuck this bitch. Like just scam this dude.
It's never like
let me give me some happiness. Like give me some emotions. That's why I like to play those during the hip hop sets, because
I want to put a pin in that because I like
let's do that.
I like that conversation. Black DJs playing anything other than hip hop and R&B.
Yeah, Carl Cox. Thank you, Carl Cox.
Thank you, Carl Cox.
Thank
you, Gordo. Like, come on.
Joe touched on something very inadvertently. It was interesting that you can hear the evolution of dubstep. Because I remember right when that shit broke, Benga Night was like the biggest song. They're like, oh, we're playing Benga Night and it's going to get rewound. Or Scream's remix of In for the Kill. When that came on, people were like, what is this? Like, there was no Shazam. There was no this, no that. It was just, this is dubstep breaking into America. This predates Skrillex. This predates all of that. And it was pretty fucking chill. If you go back and listen to it, like it's UK, UK dubstep.
Yeah.
Of course, America,
North America put that shit in the blender.
Yeah, this I did.
Yeah,
they ramped up the aggro aspects of it.
Yeah,
the Wachowski brothers are like, all right, this is what we're gonna roll with for the Matrix for the next 10 years.
Yeah, but it's wild to see that evolution to now where we have Shaq just dropping fucking bombs. Every song is just, and it's not happy, Trav. The Shaq shit's just womp, like you're getting stepped on by an elephant.
Man, it's happy though, man, because you see the crowd, man. Everybody's jumping up and down. Everybody's happy. You
the crowd's
any
happy.
Girl
they're not beating each other's ass.
Yeah. But it's loud. It's heavy. It's basically a metal show. You know, it's basically roundabout. Yeah. Joe, we have a couple questions we always ask to kind of tidy things up before we send you on your way. I'm going to pass it over to Neek real quick.
So what we like to do around these parts is set our friends up with fast food endorsement meals. What I would like to know, Joe, is where is your meal and what is it?
My fast food
Geno's.
It's got to be your fast food endorsement meal. So this
the Dirty South Joe meal.
It can't be Tony Luke's.
Yeah, it's got to be. It could be.
So this is like the Travis Scott meal, but my version of that.
Boom.
Yes.
Bingo.
Or the Saweetie meal.
Yes, and it could be national or global, and it could be regional, like In-N-Out for us.
Well, there's only one there's only one place in the world where that's gonna get my endorsement like that, and it's been treating me. I've been a vegetarian for like 30 years.
Okay.
So the one place that's always been very, very agreeable with with vegetarians is Taco Bell.
Boom.
And so my meal, my Taco Bell meal, the Dirty South Joe Taco Bell meal, is definitely going to be a veggie Mexican pizza, a cheesy gordita crunch with beans instead of meat, and 2 bean burritos with no onions, and a whole bunch of hot sauce packets. We're good.
Okay.
Fire.
What are we drinking?
We're drinking. I mean, I guess they're like. I mean, they're Pepsi people, so I guess we're just drinking a Pepsi.
Okay.
Cool.
Just a regular
Run
Pepsi.
it. Run it. We're here for that. Trav.
Okay, we are developing our DJ biopic cinematic universe like the Marvel Cinematic Universe and like the newly formed DC universe, which doesn't sound that hot to me right now. But anyways, with this DJ biopic cinematic universe, who is playing Dirty South Joe?
Oh shit. So, man. So, being that even more of a personal influence over those particular universes you mentioned would be like the anime world. I want the person that's playing me to be this idealized not idealized, but a different, warrior version of myself that maybe is a little, outside of who I actually am. So I want, I guess, the biggest action star in the world, The Rock, to play me.
Hell yeah.
Has anybody said that yet?
No one said The Rock.
Yes, Dwayne
yet.
Johnson. Yes.
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 Like, don't get me wrong. Like, of the 3 major WWE wrestlers that turned into actors, I think Cena's the best actor,
Okay.
followed by Bautista, and then The Rock.
I like that.
But
I like that.
But the one that I want playing me because, of his stature,
Right.
because I want the one playing me to be like the Goku of actors, and so that's The Rock, right?
Yeah.
Fucking Rock, man.
Which Batista is in a new movie coming out this week called
Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods, yes. And
Really?
reports are out that Batista steals the absolute show in that movie.
I mean,
So,
I want to
it's
frame
also-
a
but
picture of
it's
The
also
Rock in
like-
my home.
no disrespect to my Philly brethren, but like it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, so there's a very, very good chance that it is total fucking garbage. But
100%.
That part.
100%.
that being said,
The reviewers are saying that you don't have to wait for the twist at the end. It's a different movie, different
Thank God.
movie. So
I want to make a statement about the guy.
go ahead.
I think M. Night Shyamalan's overrated.
I'm with you.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I'm with you.
No.
I'm with you. But
Unbreakable was amazing. Everything
Fire.
else is super mid.
Split.
Everything else.
Mr.
Everything's
Glass.
what about
mid.
Split?
And
Mr.
something,
Glass, Mr. Mid.
Split
I
was
thought
stupid.
Split was amazing.
Oh man, you like that?
I gotta
Yeah.
watch Split again. I don't know.
I
I
liked
just feel
it.
like
I think I was just annoyed by James McAvoy and the whole thing.
Fair.
I
I recently watched Signs, and like,
Oh, bro, don't get me started on Signs. Wait, you're telling me this alien race came down here?
Right.
We can't stop them and everything, but a little water
And they don't like water?
on our
they
planet.
don't like
Earth?
water.
A little
Yeah.
water. Oh shit, they weren't
Like
ready
that's
for the
all our
water?
planet is.
Yeah.
That's all we are. Every
Yeah.
bit of us. That
And
shit
also to find out that the signs, the crop circles are navigational. So they made a bunch in
Right.
Bucks County, which I'm sure you find hilarious that it's in Bucks County. And
Well, because M. Night Shyamalan's from Philly. So all
Okay.
his movies are going to have a Philly reference to it.
and so but then they were all over what, India or something like that. So they just made like
but M.
all
Night
over-
Shyamalan's from
they were
India,
all
too.
over the Middle East, and then just this isolated
Yeah.
weird county in
One. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
some little girl that's got some kind of weird ADD water disorder.
Mhm.
and then the
Boy,
one person that
dogs, all
fucking
shit, you know what I mean?
the
Like,
one guy who killed
get
his
away.
kills the main character's wife on accident, happens to catch the alien, is fucking M. Night Shyamalan. Like,
Yeah.
ugh,
Yeah.
the
But
real fucking like plot, like glue of the whole movie is the fucking director,
Yeah.
and he Oh my God, it's
I'm
whack.
gonna be honest. Like, I don't know how long I'm gonna live on, in this lifetime, but I'm pretty sure that I don't have an hour and a half to 2 hours to spend on Cabin in the Woods. I don't think I have it in me. I think there's other things I want to do in my time.
Yeah. It's a book. It is a book adaptation though.
Really?
So that's
it's not
new
an original
for,
story.
Yeah, that's new for M. Night Shyamalan because I don't think he's done many book adaptations.
Yeah, as long as it's not like some original.
You can't fuck it up. They don't allow him to fuck it up.
But have you guys seen Servant on Apple Plus? So Servant is M. Night Shyamalan's TV show that is very, very, very good. His daughter's actually one of the main directors for the TV show, so that's why I think it's good because he.
I wonder, is it just because he thinks he's Stanley Kubrick? I don't know.
Say what?
I think the early praise they gave him early in his career has completely fucked him up.
Well, I mean, I also think the nature of what The Sixth Sense was, which was don't get me wrong, The Sixth Sense was a great movie. I mean, and the first time you watch it and the twist, it's awesome.
Incredible.
But I think the nature of his first movie being based on 75% of the success of the movie, or 80, 90, was just on that twist.
The twist.
Yeah.
And I think that made him just I'm the twist guy for the rest of his career.
Yeah, and it became a cliche.
Yeah, and and then it just became more and more preposterous and ridiculous. And then that whole leap of, logic that says that the aliens come to Earth and don't account for the water in the atmosphere, that shit really just made me angry. And since then, I've just been kind of hating. But I do
plot point.
He does have great ticket. I mean, he does have great floor seats for the Sixers games. So good for him.
I'm really sorry that the tail end of our show had to be M. Night Shyamalan.
Sorry.
You got any Allen Iverson stories?
I wish. I've never met Allen Iverson.
Have you ever? Have you been to a playoff game?
I've been to one. I went to a Sixers Heat playoff game in I want to say 5 or 6 years ago. But
Super Bowl predictions.
Oh, Eagles.
Okay.
Go Birds.
Okay. Hey, by the way,
I did go to the Super Bowl. That was my first Eagles game.
Oh,
did you
really?
I
DJ'd the after party with Diplo.
Damn.
And Cardi B, and that was cool because we were in the same ballroom where they actually devised and practiced the Philly special play, which was secretly behind closed doors. But yeah, that was a wild and crazy adventure, actually getting to the Super Bowl. And you guys got time for this story?
Yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah.
First of all, I'm in Philly. I've got a connecting flight to Minneapolis. That's where the Super Bowl was when the Eagles played the Patriots. The connecting flight was in Chicago. It's obviously February. I get to Chicago. Just the way things were working time-wise, everything was cutting it close to get to the game, So next thing you know, Chicago, just the worst weather in the world. There's blizzards going on and flights are getting canceled left and right, including my flight. First flight gets canceled. Second one that I get, on standby for, that one's postponed, blah, 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 on and on. Now it's looking really bad. It's looking realistically, because mind you, once I get to Minneapolis, I actually had to take a car or whatever and go to this one Airbnb on the way where my ticket was, waiting under the pillow of this Airbnb from some of Diplo's friends that were coming from LA. It was just a thing, but those guys were already at the game. But me running late, I got all this stuff to do. So I'm really estimating that my best bet is I'm going to make it at the end of the third quarter and catch maybe a quarter of the game, and that's just on a prayer, because I'm 21st on standby for this one particular flight. And I'm really oh man, it was a freaking, just the flight alone was $1,300 or something, which was a lot of freaking money for, to flight to Minnesota. And I'm just sitting there thinking I'm going to just get stuck watching the Super Bowl in O'Hare Airport, in Chicago. It just seemed things were looking pretty bleak. So the wildest coincidence was the day before in Pakistan, in Islamabad, they had a Mad Decent Block Party. Mad Decent Block Party, Islamabad. And the wildest thing was, Diplo was already booked to play the Eagles after party, win or lose. Like we're still gonna, he's the DJ for the after party. And he wanted, and so he got, a handful of tickets and invited some friends to just like, yo, come to the Super Bowl, and he wanted me to come with him and DJ too, because he knew that like I would have songs that the team, like people on the team wanted that he didn't know about, because it would just be like new hip hop shit and things like, and certain Chief Keef and Uzi songs that he didn't have at the time, whatever. So the craziest thing is like of all the connecting flights in the world from Pakistan to Minneapolis, I see him just like in the hallway coming towards my gate, and he was on that same flight. So him and his tour manager, and this guy came all the way from Pakistan, was on the same flight. So then somehow, even though I was like 21st on the standby list, I got on that flight. We fly into Minneapolis. He's got a car waiting for him. We cruise by the Airbnb, which is basically on the way to the stadium, drive literally into the stadium, like inside it, because he was like a special guest. We missed some of the first quarter, but still like kind of got there for the whole thing. DJ, then of course, like I said, we win the Super Bowl, first Super Bowl ever in Philly's history. We DJ the after party. It's I had my flight the next day to come back home was at like 1 o'clock, but it's like 6 a.m. I wake up on like the couch in his hotel room, and he's like, "Hey, we're taking a flight to New York. Like, you want to come?" And I'm just like working out the time and everything. I'm like, "Yeah." So we take the PJ to New York City, and then I jump from the private jet to the Chinatown bus. The next thing you know, I'm back in Philly, like in my house by like 12:30, 1 in the afternoon the next day, with this whole insane whirlwind of all this, like winning the Super Bowl, playing the after party, kissing the Lombardi trophy, taking a picture of Cardi B, all this shit going on, the private jet to the Chinatown bus. And then I'm like back in my house, and I was just like, it was literally the most like pinch me, did this really happen kind of thing.
What the fuck? That's
so
so
all of this happened within like a 18 to 20 hour period of time, not even a full 24 hours. You know what I mean? Just like, it was just really crazy. But if he wasn't on that same flight coming from Pakistan, I don't think I would have I don't know. It wouldn't have been the same. I would have gotten there at the end of the game. So
the private jet to the Chinatown bus you're probably the only person that's ever done that.
Yeah.
Private jet to the Chinatown bus is like kind of like a metaphor for my life.
Yo.
Like that's who I am.
That is so funny.
That's the clip right there, to be honest with you.
To the Chinatown bus. That is fire.
We can't do better than that. That's fucking
can't.
legendary. Joe, before we roll out, I wanted to get one song from you for our Spotify playlist. It can be anyone as long as they're on Spotify. Whatever you're feeling right now, one song to add.
One song to add. Well, just in case nobody's added it, and it just as a time capsule of like the biggest song in my world right now, it's Lil Uzi Vert.
Yeah, I just want to rock.
Hell yeah.
I don't think has anybody used that yet?
Not yet.
So.
All right, you know what I mean? Then there it is.
So I played the low B edit last night.
Oh yeah.
With Dreams and Nightmares. And the club sound system, the power went out. So right when it goes into it cuts, and the club is full, wall to wall, elbow to elbow. So it was about 5 to 10 minutes for them to get the power back on to the whole DJ booth, the whole video wall, everything. They had everything running on one power strip. That's another story for another episode.
You know what? Hey,
wild
Colin, I asked him the same question when I played there 2 Saturdays ago.
Wild move, I know. And
were you DJing on the Chinatown bus, or was this
basically
from the PJ to the Chinatown bus?
Basically.
And no one left. We got lucky. No one left. Everyone stood there in the dark for about 5 to 10 minutes. No one booed, no nothing. And I was like, pinch me, my life. I'm like, I got fucking lucky on this one. So I hit up Low B today and I said, this edit's fucking cursed. What did you give me? I said it shut down all the power to the whole fucking club right as I Just Want to Rock came in. So,
but I like his comment back to you. Oh, the clean version's available.
The clean version's available now.
Oh, yo, I need that.
Yeah,
I need that.
Yeah, be careful. But the
clean version's available. You would have the power would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have stayed on if you played the clean version.
God damn! Every time something curse at it. Joe, let people know where they can find you on all social media and any projects you got coming up.
You can find me on Instagram, which is my main thing that I mess around with, and that's DSJoe DEUX DSJoe and then Twitter DSJoe, where I don't really tweet, but and SoundCloud Dirty South Joe. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary. Thank you. It's been a fucking honor, man.
Hold on, did we give him his flowers yet?
No, let's do it right now. Let's do it right now.
So the 505 podcast florist is open right now, and Joe, we want to give you your flowers, man. Yeah, you're a legend, bro.
For years, and years. And are you bringing back Mad Decent Monday anytime soon? Because that needs to happen.
It does.
I don't know. Think about it.
I mean, I think about it a lot, but then I'm also like, no disrespect, but like, Mad Decent as a wave, as a label, is just like not really doing too much that I even know what they're doing right now. So.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like if I do something new on a Monday, I'll probably do something new.
Hell yeah!
I do have a new event called Sturdy popping off soon, where we are bridging the gap.
Oh, the dance. Okay, we go.
It's like dedicated to dancers, and it's like bridging the gap between this like club music and blicking like culture and b-boy and b-girl culture, because I feel like those things can come together in a beautiful harmony, and be just giving the dancers freedom to get loose in a safe space, as they say.
That term "getting sturdy" really separated a lot of people in the age gap. That's when a lot of people realize, like, woo, getting a little washed, if you don't know what that one is. Yeah.
Real quick, are we taking a PJ out to Glendale, Arizona next week?
I don't know yet. I'm still on standby right now. I'm still on,
if not, the Chinatown bus is an option.
I've been texting the guy. I've been like, I do know that Michael Rubin is having a Fanatics party the night before. So, which
that makes sense.
Saturday night, the one that like Travis Scott and J Balvin and Lil Baby and the Chainsmokers, I think, are the headliners.
Okay.
And I know that, but I don't know about like the Eagles after party on that Super Bowl Sunday. I'm still waiting to see. And,
if Michael Rubin's doing a party, man, good God, Jay's probably going to be there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the one thing about musically with going on with this whole Super Bowl this year is Rihanna is doing halftime, man, and I'm like that's like the first time we get to deal with Rihanna in music in like a good 7-8 years now.
Yeah,
6 years.
Yeah.
Whenever Anti came out, that was so long ago, and she had the ballads on the Wakanda Forever soundtrack, but that's not this. That doesn't count.
What we wanted. It's not what we wanted.
Because they forced out of retirement on that one.
Where's the mythical dancehall album that we're talking about 4 years ago? Like, where is all of it? Like, but at least you're gonna perform. Like, that's exciting.
You know what's funny is, as soon as Rihanna announced that she was going to be performing the Super Bowl, we all of a sudden saw Party Next Door pop up and put out some songs. Rihanna been having that dude in hiding lately, so.
I think it's funny the DJs that were like, I don't care what she puts out, whatever it is, I'm gonna play it. And then that song came out, and they're like, I was wrong.
Shoot,
I was wrong.
Maybe
I
not
played
that
it
one.
and turned it off real quick. I'm like, I can't play this in the club.
You would
man.
play that. Get out of here. Oh my God. Unless there's any
I try to put a beat on it too. No.
Trying to have a ballad party.
Put the tipsy drums underneath it. Get out of here, dork.
Yep.
Get out of here. No, it's good. It's good.
It's good.
It's
good now.
That's the tipsy drums. Get out of here.
Yeah, the tipsy drums. That makes sense.
I think, gentlemen, unless there's any outstanding questions, comments, complaints, concerns, we will wrap it up. Joe, thank you a million, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Such a good time. We'll see y'all next week with another surprise guest. Until then, peace.
Peace.